All right, guys, we are here in Arkansas, Conway, at what is probably the best video game store, RetroFest Game Point. This is my third time being at the store, third or fourth time. It's my second year being here. Whenever this comes out, I'm obviously here for RetroFest Arkansas. Super excited to come back to the store since it's been exactly 1 year since I have been here. In front, they have the Jeep that they're actually giving out. By the time this video comes out, someone won a Jeep. I think they're doing 90s trivia. So if somehow someone's watching this video that is actually the winner of that car right there, let us know. It's a Jurassic Park themed car, which we'll show y'all guys later. But let's go ahead and go inside and see what new Switch games they have had. I've heard that they've gotten so many new Switch games since the last time I've been here. So I am very much looking forward to checking it out. All right, we've made it into the store. We had quite the entry. I wish I would have filmed it, but it was quite the entry. But right away, here they are, the Nintendo Switch games. I'm gonna take a time to look into this. This looks like they have way more than the last time. I might be wrong, but I feel like the section started maybe like right about right here to like right here. So I feel like they've grown way more, but that could just be in my head. Either way, I can't wait to take a look at these Switch games. Let's see if I can find any cool gems. Guys, there's a new employee. Figured we'd get him on to the video. How you feeling about this?
Really good. I'm already overworking here and owning the store, so honestly, just load anything up you want in your car and take it home.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna take full advantage of this.
Seriously,
You're the best employee ever, dude.
Anything you need.
Thank
I'll
you.
actually give you some money from the register on your way
Oh,
out,
dude,
too.
thank you so much. I appreciate that. This is the best day ever. All right, so they have a bunch of like bigger box stuff. Most of the time you would see this like behind the counter, but it's cool to actually hold this because I found a game that I have never heard of. Do Not Feed the Monkeys. 30 bucks, comes in this big box. It's the collector's edition. I don't particularly care about getting collector's edition stuff because typically I don't care about the stuff that's in the box, and also you typically pay way more to owning the collector's edition. I like statues, but that's really all I do with collector's editions. But with this being $30 and the amount of awards that this game has gotten, it definitely has my interest. And looking at the back, it looks like, just judging by what we're seeing here, I'm seeing screenshots of looking at a laptop. Looks like you're looking at cameras. I don't know if you're being hired to be a security guard because I see there's a camera onto the actual logo of the game. 30 bucks, I think I'm gonna give this a try. Okay, this is interesting. I just grabbed a game over here because I saw the Square Enix logo was right there. And I was like, wonder what this could be. It looks like it's like some sort of case game, but then this is where it gets even interesting. I take a look at the back, they have actual actors in there. It looks like it might be like a live action film mixed in with game elements. I feel like I have to give this a try because the Switch doesn't really have many of these type of games onto the system. I feel like one of the ones that come to mind is something like The Bunker, which we streamed and that was an experience, but I'm very curious about this. I feel like this is a mixture of both, which could be either really good or really bad. For 30 bucks, a little bit higher than I would want to pay for a game that I really know absolutely nothing about, but Square Enix, $30, obscure game, we're gonna give it a try as well. Guys, believe it or not, I have found something that I have been looking for. Surprising for a very long time. Now, I could have just ordered this online, but as you guys know, I like to film myself picking up these games because I think it's good content. I think talking about said game on camera is also just really cool. So I never got the opportunity to find this game at a store. I know it's not hard to find or anything, but this is my first time finding it in person at a store or even at a convention, which this is a game I would have thought conventions would have more of. Stranded Deep. This is a big survival game where you're stranded on an island, basically. You're crafting stuff. This game was super duper popular back in the like early 2010s. I remember this game coming out as a kid, and I saw all these Minecraft YouTubers, because that's what I used to watch as a kid, try to make content off this game, because I think those YouTubers thought that this could be like the next Minecraft. But I don't know if it ever went that far into that. Either way, it still has maintained some popularity into now, what, like 15 years later. So it's really cool that this came to the Switch. I'm curious how this game runs on the Switch as well, because I feel like this is something that would not do well on the Switch, but I think it'll be very interesting to play. I'm building quite the stack, which is not a good thing, but it'll be all right. Okay guys, so I just found something very interesting. I have seen very few stores actually do this before, and it's surprising to see how much of this they actually have. I'm actually gonna go ahead and take this to show y'all, but they actually have a dedicated area for all the Japanese Switch games that they have. So that is pretty cool. Once again, I mean, they got collector's edition boxes. Oh my gosh, I thought I was about to make a big mess. But they got stuff literally everywhere here. It is impressive to see the selection. I don't know if they just had like a giant trade Switch, but this, I know I say this a lot, but this is probably the best Switch inventory I have ever seen from a game store. And I feel like I say that for a lot of stores, but I think this definitely takes the cake. I know I was giving Quick Flip Video Games a lot of praise, which they still have a great Switch selection. I was just more talking about the fact that it was impressive how much they had for their day one opening. Really cool to see what Rick's doing here. I am gonna go broke. We have a convention this week. I probably need to be very careful with what I'm doing with the spending. Taking a break from looking at Switch games because there's so much over there. But something really caught my eye. They have a Meteoroid statue right here. This one is from First Four Figures. I think this is a really old one. I don't keep up too much with the First Four Figures stuff. I know they're like the best company for statues, but really cool to see this. Obviously, we got Meteoroid Prime 4 coming out very soon. They got that statue here that looks really, really nice. I actually have a Charizard First Four Figures. I think that, and actually my Link statue that's on the shelf is a First Four Figure statue as well. But that is really cool to see. So this is a new demo kiosk that they've had. Obviously, we talked about how they have the GameCube one, which is somewhere over there. But yeah, this Dreamcast is a new one. I don't know, is the PlayStation new? I feel like they had the PlayStation. I'm pretty sure the Dreamcast is the one that's new. I don't think I've ever seen a working Dreamcast kiosk, so this is pretty cool. As you can see, it's got all the controllers connected to it, ready to play. That's the one cool thing about the store is they have it where you can play all of the stuff here, which I think is just super cool. All right, so they actually got a few Switch 2 games right here. Got a pre-owned copy of Breath of the Wild, Street Fighter 6. They actually got a lot of copies of 3D All-Stars right there. And then in terms of other Switch stuff that's over here, they do have one of the more higher value Switch games right here, Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. We've talked about why this one is so valuable. And it's because, from my understanding, when it comes to Season 2, the Switch is the only way to play that because all of the episodes are on the cartridge. So that's why that one is so high. And obviously Telltale Games went out of business. Well, they went out of business like twice and then got brought back twice. They're alive right now, but people think they're gonna get shut down again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Look at this Ganondorf statue right here. That has to be the biggest quality, like the highest detailed quality of Ganondorf right there.
His arms look like mine. Just a little smaller though than mine.
It even lights up over here. Look at this. That is impressive. I am very. I don't think that's official though. I don't think I've seen Nintendo do a Ganondorf statue like this. Either way, if it's not official, that's still very impressive for whoever made that. All right, so we're at their little, I guess you would want to call it a video game museum, or maybe just a nostalgia museum, because there's more stuff than just video games, obviously, into this. Nothing's really changed. Everything is still the same from last year when we were here, but there is one new cabinet, which is this one right here, the Nickelodeon Guts trophies right here. I don't know the story of how they got this, but they have a bunch of signed stuff from the Nickelodeon Guts show. They have the first place trophy from the person that won the very first Guts tournament ever. If you guys aren't aware of this, this is a show that Nickelodeon had, I think in the 90s. I wasn't around when it happened, but a bunch of kids were in it. Basically, they were competing, doing all sorts of things. The whole idea was, do you have the guts to do this? And yeah, so it's really cool to see the actual trophy right here. This is probably something that no one's ever going to see very often. So that is really cool to see right here into the store. Check this out, guys. I think this is a lot more of their more valuable stuff all into one spot. Now, I'm not too familiar with a lot of the stuff. I know like Kid Clown right there is like one of the most expensive NES games. The thing that I think is the most interesting out of this cabinet though, is this Duck Dodgers game. I have always thought that this game looked really fun. I'm just never going to pay that price. I hope if Limited Run with their Carbine engine or any other company that has access to getting this IP, I think this would be the perfect game to remaster in today's consoles. I think Duck Dodgers has always looked like a very fun game. So that's probably like a big wish for mine to have come to the Switch. A lot of people ask like if I could remaster a game, what would I say? When it comes to like N64 era, I'm gonna say Duck Dodgers looks the most interesting. Now I haven't played it, but it looks really fun. All right, so this is actually a new addition to the store. They have a, I guess it's called Nintendo Versus Arcade. So on this side, you can play Castlevania. This is something you don't see too often. And then on the other side is Super Mario Bros., which I don't think this one's working. So that's a little unfortunate. Either way, this is something you don't see every day. I don't think I've ever seen this at a convention, let alone a store. A store doesn't typically have this type of stuff, so it's so cool to see Rick continue to put arcades, like the Mario Bros. Arcades right there, for example. That's something that you would only really see at a convention. And this right here is definitely crazy to see, especially that right there. That is still probably the coolest arcade I've ever seen at a store with the Mario Bros. Stuff. So either way, store just has so much for you to do. Rick, how are you, my friend?
I think I'm okay. I'm better that you're here. I'm a lot better that my guy's here.
I'm glad to be here. Obviously, this is coming out probably weeks after the convention. Okay. So it'll be super successful by the time, you know.
Please. I hope so.
It's interesting. I know last year I felt like you were way more stressed out because
really?
I feel like you're less stressed. I feel like you're way more calm.
We have a better plan. We have a better plan this year, for sure. So I'm pumped though.
One thing I wanted to point out is the Switch selection has gotten, I feel like almost double since the last time I was here.
At least double, and when you're going through the games, it's not like 8 of the same game. It's going to be maybe 2 of a singular title, but then they're all different. Yeah, dude, we're packed out on Switch, and this is not even all of it. We've got a whole tub of pretty rare, obscure stuff we're bringing to the con.
But one thing I also think is really cool about the Switch games is you have a lot of obscurity when it comes to that stuff. I was at Caleb's store.
I'm sorry.
I was at the grand opening for that. And something I told him is that a lot of these stores, they get Switch games, but they have like the Marios. That's what you always see at these stores. The obscurity stuff is stuff that I don't see often at stores like that. So with your store and his store, I think that's really cool how you guys have so much.
It's good to try to carry, a little bit of everything, stuff for the grandma that knows that, well, my kid plays Minecraft. Okay, they get the Minecraft, but then also like, never heard of this game before, and that's what we have with Switch collectors. We have coming all the time, like, dude, I just grabbed 6 games I've never heard of. I didn't know they were on the Switch, and so keep everybody happy.
Well, thank you for being on the video. Looking forward to this week. It's going to be a fun time.
Thank you for being here, seriously.
Thank you for having me. So,
of course.
Check out his store, guys, if you haven't. Which I feel like if you're watching this, you more than likely have already seen the store. So, yeah. So we have something here that I think is the second time we have shown this on the channel before. First time here at the store seeing this. But they have a Legend of Zelda. I'm trying to think what it was called. Masters Edition, I think that's what it was called. Breath of the Wild Masters Edition. This thing has spiked up so high. This thing, when it first came out, was $100. That's what it retailed for. Now it has shot up to over $1,000. They got it over here for $1,200, which is, I think, what it goes for. Last year, it was 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to buy a Masters Edition. $400. And I was like, whoa, that is an amazing deal. But I couldn't see myself spending over $400 onto something that I basically already own, like the original game. The collector's edition, I don't feel like looks that cool. I mean, the box looks amazing. I think that would look great on the shelf, but I feel like what's inside of the collector's edition was never really that cool. So that's why I never got the collector's edition when it came out. Obviously, I should have gotten it considering the value of it now. So something that's changed heavily since the last time we were here at the store is they do a lot in Pokemon cards now. So they have a whole display case of cards. It looks like over here at the bottom, they also have Japanese booster boxes. I know that Pokemon cards do super well at stores, so I'm not entirely surprised by this. You know, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but my local card shop is actually a vape store. So here in North Carolina, where I live, I literally have to go to a vape store if I wanted to buy Pokemon cards. It's like the most shady thing ever. The vape stuff's at the front, and you have to go all the way to the back of the store to get to the Pokemon cards. It's like, it feels like I'm entering a black market deal of some sort, going in there with all the cards being at the back. It's so weird. All right, so I was looking at these Switch games one last time. I mean, I'll be back later this week because I came here early, but I saw one more game here. I already have a lot of stuff. There's a few things that I'm seeing here that I'm like, ooh, that's a really good price. Like this, for example. Retro City Rampage. I really want this game. It's $50. A lot of the times I have seen this as a sealed game, and I think places were selling this sealed for like 80, 90 bucks. And you guys know that I like getting open copies. I think I'm gonna hold out on this one though. The one that I did see that looks really interesting to me, I did a little bit of research on this. I know it's a mobile game, but it looks like it's gonna be a really fun game. Old Man's Journey. Looks like it has a very deep story behind it. And I think I was reading online that it got a lot of awards of being like one of the best mobile games of all time. And it got ported to the Switch, which a lot of mobile games ended up onto the Switch. So I think I want to give this a try. I mean, looking at the back, it looks like it could be something truly special. I think this is going to be the last Switch pickup for the day. I'm sure I'm going to buy more throughout the week, especially. It sounds like they're going to have a lot of stuff at the convention that's not here at the store. So let's go ahead and check out and see how much I ended up spending. All right, so we are just now leaving RetroFest store. I spent $144. And I think the funniest thing about this is the Centennial case was the most difficult game to find in their little binders of cartridges. It was fun being in there though, but I thought it was pretty funny that this is the one that took so long. And come to find out, the cartridge had Japanese text all over it, so you couldn't even figure out that this was the game essentially. So pretty funny. Nonetheless, glad that we finally got this. Now the bank account is definitely in the red and we're not even through with the week, so that's exciting, I guess. If you guys have not checked RetroFest Gameplay, definitely come out. This video is already going to be out when RetroFest happens, so come to RetroFest next year. I'm sure it's going to be the same timeline of October next year. And yeah, guys, I have been talking for way too much. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button, like the video, check out the Twitter, Instagram, Discord, all that good stuff. And if you won the car, let us know. I mean, I highly doubt whoever wins this car actually watches the channel, but that would be pretty cool. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.